This is a Marshall Enterprises presentation. Pace, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another BROWNSVILLE LLC presentation. Coming to you live, Brownsville, Brooklyn. And today, I need to give you guys a little guidance of which I have come upon through my own research and study. And usually I give out during consultations or inquiries. A lot of people reach out to me via my email, text me. Some have my direct line. They call me right up. And they ask me for particular information with respect to their path. There's a lot of misinformation, confused information, and I'm going to attempt to clear up some of this miscommunication, misinformation, this unnecessary crap. And this is all my opinion. I've carved my own path. I don't follow a particular script. I've done a lot of paperwork, and I've done quite a few processes successfully. So I'm coming from experience. Now, the title of this video is going to be Beware of the Wolves. And I'm titling it Beware of the Wolves because there's a lot of people that are in need of assistance and looking to find ways to get out from under the system, looking to find remedy, and the people that they're bumping into on their path or on their journey out is only holding them down. They're not giving them right information. They're not giving them complete information, and it's not helping their plight. So I'm going to attempt to give some direction, some light to what is going on, and hopefully to help somebody out there in their journey. Now, let me give you a little background first. I got into this information after fighting a speeding ticket and operating without a license ticket citation. I was traveling through New York, going to take my son to school, when I was pulled over because I was exceeding the speed limit by a nice little number. And upon running my license, come to find out that my driving privilege to operate in New York City was suspended. I had a valid New Jersey driver's license, but the privilege to drive to New York City was suspended. Wound up towing the vehicle, and I got the 2 citations. And what happened was, one way or another, I kind of forgot about the tickets, or I just ignored them. And subsequently, they suspended my New Jersey license. That's when I took action. Like, what the hell's going on here? Decided to fight the tickets. Now, they already defaulted out the ticket because I failure to appear. So I wound up opening it back up and, submitted a bunch of documentation, and I wound up beating that case. Driving without a license or operating without a license and speeding, doing 93 and a 65-mile-per-hour lane. Both were dismissed. And it was at that time that it gave me a further desire to get into law and to find out other paths, other remedies, which I started looking into do not detain and how to beat and fight traffic tickets, because moving violations is one thing. Traffic, like moving violations and parking tickets is not one and the same. They're not really one and the same, but they can be fought similarly, as well as a red light camera. Red light camera, now see, that's a moving violation, but the officer or the person sending you, or the agency sending you the ticket, did not pull you over. They are assuming by video that you've done something, video or camera footage that you've done something, and they're accusing you of something. So, or they're making an assumption and a presumption, and you have to rebut those presumptions. Parking ticket, your vehicle is parked somewhere, and they leave you a ticket. So they witness that you allegedly have done something or violated something. Moving violation is when the officer sees you, he witnesses with his own eyes, see you do something, pulls you over. All right, let me leave that there. So I dug a little deeper into law and found how to fight a lot of these processes, and I've had a lot of success with a lot of these things that I speak about and do on the private side. First and foremost, when you get into this information, the very first step that I teach, that I advise people to do, is to authenticate your birth certificate. Authenticate your birth certificate. Got a video on it. I'll put the link right here. At the end of this video will be a suggestion to go to that video, as well as tools of the trade. There's going to be different tools and different things and strategies I'm speaking about, but I've already done a video on it. So look at the video that I'm going to highlight. So the first thing you want to do, you should do, is authenticate your birth certificate. Authenticate your birth certificate. This moves you from minority into the age of majority, and it assists you with taking control of the name. You want to be in control, not ownership, of that ens legis, that all caps name, that straw man. All right? That is accompanied by an affidavit of ownership, what I call it an affidavit of declaration, affidavit of declaration of Allodium. Similar thing, except I'm not claiming ownership. I'm claiming allodial title. Okay, so authenticate birth certificate, very first step. Affidavit of ownership or declaration of allodium. Now that you've done that step, you are now able to handle your own affairs. You are of the age of majority, and you can speak and you can, like, prior to you doing this step, you are considered a minor. You're considered a baby. You're considered someone incompetent. You're legally incompetent. That's the assumption and that's the presumption. How do you overcome that assumption and that presumption? You take ownership. You make the declaration. So that kills that assumption that you cannot handle your own affairs. There's more steps that go to it that if you get challenged, you can pull out your documents and show that I am able, I'm competent to handle my own affairs. I've done an affidavit of denial of corporate existence. I've done videos on these things. I'm not going to explain them. I might wind up explaining them. I'm trying not to. Affidavit of corporate existence, denial of corporate existence. I've done, we get the original, the notice of rescission of signatures. Notice of rescission of signatures. You want to rescind all prior contracts, whether you are signed up for public assistance, whether you signed up for, you signed your W-4, you signed a W-9, not W-9. Let's just use your W-4. When you've opted into these programs unknowingly, without full disclosure, you box yourself in. So a lot of these documents help unbox you. Notice of rescission of signatures. You're going to rescind your signature on those, on any documents that you've put out there in the universe. I have several power of attorney documents. I'm power of attorney for several, all my clients. I'm power of attorney for my clients. Power of attorney for my family members. This allows me to act on their behalf as an attorney in fact. Attorney in fact. I've done a video again on that, look it up. All right. Certificate of designation. I can only speak on New York. I've done it for New York. This is something that D.B.A. mentioned in one of his, or several of his radio shows. If any service, any notice of service, or any notices of lawsuits, etc., it goes to the Secretary of New York State. Well, let me read it to you. This is a certificate of designation for service of notice of claim of Robert L. Marshall, pursuant to Section 53 of the General Municipal Law. It is hereby certified that first, Robert L. Marshall is a public corporation as defined in Section 66 of the General Construction Law of the State of New York. Second, the name of the public corporation is Robert L. Marshall. Third, the principal location of the public corporation is in the County of Kings. Fourth, the public corporation hereby designates the Secretary of State of the State of New York as its agent upon whom notice of claim against a public corporation may be served. Fifth, the name, post office address, email address of an officer, personal designee, nominee, or other agent in fact to which the Secretary of State shall transmit a copy of any notice of claim served upon the Secretary of State as a public corporation's agent is, in my address, PO Box. 6, the time limit for service of a notice of claim upon the public corporation is 72 hours. 7, any statutory provisions uniquely pertaining to public corporation in the commencement of an action or proceeding against it are as follows. Biblical law, de jure Constitution for the United States of America. 8, New York State vendor identification number for the public corporation is not provided. And that's the notice of claim. Certificate of designation for notice of claim. Now, you notice that it mentions public corporation. I've also done a D.B.A. It's over here somewhere. Don't take me on my word. Let me prove it to you because I'm going to show it to you. But I've done a D.B.A. and that name that is referenced as a corporation. That D.B.A. is here somewhere. I guess I'm going to have to, yes, it's here. State of New York. Seal. County seal. Come on now. Okay. The business license. So I did a business license. I created a business, or I've took control of the name by way of D.B.A. I'm doing business as that all caps name. So when you're doing business in this name, no one else is supposed to use that name to conduct business but you. Or no one is able to use that same name in the same type of business as you. Okay? So anyway, certificate of designation, D.B.A. Hope you guys are keeping up. This was pretty much last, but it's on top of the documents I'm going to show it to you now. Declaration of political status. I've done a video on this. Please look that up. Very important. And for those that are new to Brownsville LLC, those that have not seen any other of my other videos, the main importance of this document, I believe, is the very last page. It ties you back into the original entity. Again, I've made a video on it, but I'll just highlight it briefly. When you were born, they took your footprint, put it on a piece of paper. They put the date, the weight, the height, the color, etc., the timestamp, and that is your certificate of live birth, with the proof being your footprint embedded on that document. We now have our birth certificate that we carry around, but that footprint is nowhere to be seen on the certificate. How does one prove that you are that individual? because I can give this birth certificate to my son, and my son can act as me. The tieback is the footprint. So what you would do is do your current footprint on a document, and now you are, in essence, collapsing that trust because they claim that you are lost at sea. Since Dewey K Act 1666, they're claiming that you are lost at sea, that you were born alive, but we don't know where you are. You haven't claimed your estate. So you can say, no, 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 I'm alive, and I am that original person, or I am representing that original person that that footprint was on that document, because here is an updated version of that footprint. And you can compare the notes and see that this is who I say it is. So you're collapsing that. But not gonna spend too much time on that. Declaration of political status, I did a video on that. Of course, I'm gonna highlight the link here. Moving right along. And on the description, once this video is done, I'm gonna try to outline the steps that you might wanna take when filling out these documents. What to do first, what to do second, what to do third. This is the missing link that a lot of people are not talking about, because a lot of people don't know. It's a fly by night, or they're reading books, or they don't want to read. There's books, cracking the code, redemption manual, outline the steps of being a secure party. But outlining the steps of becoming private and doing different things is not really outlined. So I'm going to try to show you what documents you should have in your artillery, in your war chest. Now, what you do with them later on is different. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So you have these things. Now, what do you do with them? There's some people that authenticated the birth certificate and say, okay, I did that. What do I do with it now? What's the next step? I got this thing, but what do I do with it? You bought a gun, you got bullets, but you don't have a target. Or you never go to the range and actually fire that weapon in practice. So what do you do with these documents once you did all of this? What is the purpose? There's some people doing processes and doing all these things. I'm going to be a secure party. I'm going to do this. I'm going to file this. I'm going to put the deposit on the treasury. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to write accept it for value on my birth certificate. I'm going to send it back to the treasury. Okay, you did all that for what? Was it necessary? All of these processes necessary for what you're trying to do. You need to know what path that you're going to take and what you need to do for your journey to get there. Don't just do all these things and be doing all these things. Everything that I've mentioned to you thus far is very critical and important. It plays a part in secure party. It plays a huge part in being private. It has some part in discharging debt. Not all of it, some of it. However, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I've done a lot of documents, a lot of which was unnecessary. So I'm trying to save you guys some time and effort from filling out a lot of unnecessary stuff. But being unnecessary is one thing. Also keep in mind, the dates matter. The dates you fill this document out ages, and it tells how long you've been doing this stuff. So when you have a case and you want to present your documents into the case, if your document is 13 years old, that tells the people receiving it, oh, these people were doing it, they've been doing this for a while. It's not fly by night. This wasn't dated yesterday. It wasn't notarized yesterday. It's been notarized 12 years ago. I have a 20-year-old company. 1970, I'm trying to remember the date. Anyway, off the topic. Anyway, but dates matter. You know, you don't want to fill out everything. You want to fill out what is required for your path. Once you get the documents that's required for your path, then you can do the extra stuff, the extra filler. But make sure you are getting the stuff that you need for your path. What is your path? Where are you trying to go? Going to secure party? Okay, you need to do these documents. You're going to just be private? Okay, you need to do these documents. You're looking to discharge debt? Okay, you should do these documents. If you're looking just to be free, get the monkey off your back and, you know, separate yourself and own the name, control the name. You know, just get a trust, put all your assets in the trust and sit back and, you know, you own nothing but control everything. There's different paths and different ways to get to that goal. All right, enough on that. Okay, so showed you those. We did a WA bin. WA bin. Employer, bank account. It's slipping me right now, but there's other uses for the WA bin. If you notice at the top of this form, it says you do not give this to your, do not send to the IRS. Do not send to the IRS. This goes to the withholding agent, the person that will be holding funds in lieu of giving it to the IRS. So you open up a bank account and you're getting lots of money in that bank account. Once it goes over a certain level, it has to be reported to the IRS. For whatever reasons, I could go into reasons why, but I'm not in this video. But for whatever reasons, once you reach a certain level of money, of finances, FRNs, credit, whatever in the bank, it now has to report to the IRS. Now you're gonna have to say, okay, it's income, revenue, or it's other. And with a WA bin, you more or less is stopping them in their tracks as, okay, this is revenue or it's this, and I'm the beneficial owner. The beneficial owner, keyword, look that up, beneficial owner. And my income should not be, not income, but my revenue should not be classified as income or profit or gain, which I showed you that what goes with that is the Affidavit of Domicile, Tax Status, Citizenship, or Affidavit of Citizenship, Domicile, Tax Status. This and the WA bin is what you give to your employer and what you should give to the bank. Okay? Need more information about that? Hit me up, leave me a comment. I've done a Form 56, IRS Form 56. This is the proof sitting right here that it was filed. And you notice the green. This is proof that it was filed. Okay, going on to the UCC1. Now, before I go to UCC1, let me go to the UCC11. A lot of people omit this step. You should fill out a UCC11. The UCC11 is a search to see if there are any liens in your name, liens against you for whatever reason. And once you get your documentation back that states that, oh, there's no liens, nothing, you know, founded, great. Now you do the UCC1. If you do the UCC1 without doing the UCC11, then if you have any liens, this UCC1 is useless because first in time, first in time. If someone has a lien against you and you do a UCC1 and you claiming to relinquish your assets to the secured party, et cetera, no. They're gonna say, well, you got a lien over here, first in line, first in time. So before you can give your assets away to whoever you want to give it to, we're gonna take it to satisfy whatever lien. Do the UCC11 search first, then do the UCC1. Now, I've done 3 UCC1. Let me explain. The very first UCC1 I've done was on the straw man, on the ens legis, letting them know that the straw man, ens legis's property and assets, etc., is being conveyed over to the secured party in a security agreement. Okay? Now, along with that, I used to live in New York State, so I had to file that UCC1, that original UCC1 in New York State. I then relocated and inhabit Jersey, New Jersey. So what I did was file another UCC1, that's the second one, another UCC1 in New Jersey that points to this UCC1 that is filed in New York. So all it says is, see filing such as date and the filing number. That's what you gotta do for your secondary place of inhabitants domicile. Your original has all the information. you did this, you did that, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. All the information here. The second one doesn't have to have all the information, just C, filing number, date, and reference that one. So that's the second UCC. The third UCC that I filled out is for discharging debt. You do an initial UCC1, and you're going to do filings off of that UCC1 that reference the UCC1. I may have confused some people. Let me try it again. You do a UCC1 filing for discharging debt. You do UCC1 filing, and in the filing and in notation, you're going to say that this is for subsequent filings. The subsequent filings is a UCC3. Anytime you distinguish or discharge a debt, you send out a presentment, you make a coupon, money order, bill of exchange, etc. You're going to do a UCC1. That UCC3. That UCC3 will be coming off of that UCC1. The UCC1 is the first filing that you make. And then anything after that is either amendment, a correction, a alteration, a cancellation, and those are going to be threes off that original one. Okay, so if you're sending out 5 presentments, you're going to send 5 UCC3s, or you're going to create 5 UCC3s. That's going to stem from that UCC1. I think I made that clear enough. Okay, so these are documents that you should have in your arsenal that is necessary for operating on the private side. I think I've shown you all my documents. I believe I have. Or I believe I've shown you all that I can show you at this point. There's other documents that I can't show you. They're private. Let me show you the non-citizen oath of allegiance. Now, Bible speaks of, don't quote me on where they speak it at, the Bible speaks of not taking an oath and not swearing. Not swearing an oath, not taking an oath. And I'll say, however, I don't want to explain it. I'll explain this in a separate video. I don't want to explain it on this one. But a non-citizen oath of allegiance, meaning you are respecting the state constitution that you are claiming to be a state national. You don't want to be a citizen, person, or resident. Citizen, person, or resident. You do not want to be a citizen, person, or resident. You do not want to be a citizen, person, or resident. Nor do you want to be an individual. Why? Look at it for yourself. Look at the definitions. So this is in essence saying that I'm non-citizen, but I'm pledging allegiance. And it's catchy because, okay, full disclosure. For firearm rights, for firearm protection, you want to have certain things in your basket. You are what you claim. You are what you defend and what you assert. By me making a claim and a statement that I'm a non-citizen, however, I am, for lack of a better word, pledging allegiance to the state, or New Jersey state, not the state of Jersey, New Jersey state. That means that I recognize where I'm from, I recognize where I inhabit, and I respect their laws. They need to respect my laws. My laws is my paperwork. Their laws is their statutes, codes, and ordinances. Now, statutes, codes, and ordinances do not apply to a state or to a private individual. This video is going somewhere I really don't want it to go. Non-citizen oath of allegiance. It's for firearm capabilities. I know we get a lot of questions on that. I'll answer them offline and private. I'm not going to answer them in the comments. is it necessary? If you would like to carry, if you would like to, been enough on that. So brothers and sisters, be careful of those that seek to help you for a fee. You know, now a workman is worthy of his hire. However, you have to be careful of who you choose to get help from. There's a lot of people that pose as good-hearted and knowledgeable. They post a lot of information, you know, they show you things, you know, smoke and mirrors, but have they done these processes themselves? Do they have remedy on their own? You can ask for proof, but you shouldn't be asking for proof, because no one can show you, or I can show you anything, whether it was paid for by me with my Federal Reserve notes or whether it was discharged, is not going to be explained, or is not going to be shown in the documentation. You're going to have to take that person's word for it. You're going to have to take my word for it. I can show you I've created this check, I did this, I did that, and so on and so forth, and I discharged this debt. That's just me uttering words. Okay, I can show you some fancy papers, but that's not proof. It's better to have your own proof. I did a seminar in Brooklyn a couple of years ago. I asked people to bring their own documents, and I'll show them the steps, attempted to show them the steps of how to actually discharge their own debt. Because if I take your bill and I discharge it, you may think, oh, I put money out and I paid for that. It's a scam. No, I wanted to show you the principal steps of how to discharge it yourself. The problem with the seminar was maybe one person out of a group of 20, 25 actually enforced their instruments, that actually did the groundwork. A lot of people in the seminar did not have their authenticated birth certificates. They were minors. It matters a tiny, no, it matters a lot, but you know, for what they were doing, it was okay as long as their hands were clean with the IRS. The IRS is the unit that pays the bills for the Treasury, that handles the finances for the Treasury. So as long as you are in good standing with the IRS, your processes should be honored, because the average Joe Schmo should be discharging their debt. It adds a little bit of weight when you have documentation to build it up or to back it up, and you enforce it. A lot of people didn't want to do the work and enforce it. So I'm not talking bad about the guests that came to the seminar. It's just me presenting this information to you. It sounded good. It's like, oh, wow, it's intriguing. Now, when you come out and you see how much work is involved, and now, you know, people take a step back. Like, I got to do this. I got to mail letters. I got to do that. Yes, this is a little bit of work. The easy road is just paying. The easy road is just not paying and getting, you know, default judgments against your stuff. It's easy because you ain't worried about it. You know, you can't squeeze water from a rock. You know, they ain't getting their money because they ain't got no money. But if you want to actually take control of your affairs and dismiss them and, you know, knock away those flies, those bills, you have to enforce it. It's all about enforcement. So you can have all of this paperwork. There's Facebook groups that send documents every day. There's documents. You go into their file section, and there's hundreds of thousands of PDFs and documents and all this stuff and all this good information. Okay, you've got all this, but what do you do with it? How do you do it? What are the steps? So over the next 2 days, I'm going to try to give you some more information of how to actually enforce your documents, your processes, because this stuff does work if you work. If you don't work, it won't work. I said enough right there, closing it down. This is Bud Brownsville. I thank you for your time. I hope this lights a fire in somebody. It causes some heads to explode and say, oh yeah, that's the missing link. I'm the dot connector. I try to be the dot connector. I try to put people in places that they need to be, or there's something missing. I have all of these things, but there's something missing. Oh, is that? Yeah, oh, now you're complete. All right? So I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything. I don't. I'm yet learning myself. But I know enough to bring people that are just learning or here, or maybe stuck, or did all this stuff, but don't know how to piece it together. I may be able to help. I may not be able to help. I'll be honest with you. You call me up and you ask me certain questions, I'll tell you either I've done it or I haven't done it. Or I may be able to put you in touch with somebody that has. But that's it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening, and look out for the next videos. And please leave a comment. Please share. And I thank you. It's Bud Brownsville, signing out.
Hey, yo, what up? I'll be like, man, get the fuck out of here. I ain't talking to this nigga. What the fuck am I talking to this nigga for? You know what my grandfather told me? You don't get as far as the motherfuckers you talk to for no reason. You'll be successful as the motherfuckers that you talk to for no reason. What I mean is, if you spending your day talking to a nigga that ain't got nothing going on, what the fuck kind of information can he offer you? Can he help you learn something? Can he teach you something in the conversation?